Hello there, everyone. How's it going? Welcome to the Robbie Futo channel. As many of you probably noticed, whenever I did the change, I changed the name from Zora2 over to Robbie Futo, just because I wanted to do something else. I wanted this to be a more personal channel where I post videos like these. And also my idea was to reintroduce this channel once I made my video on Beastars 3 and on season 3 of Beastars and whatever. Just talk about whatever really. The reasoning for that was because of I was trying to better myself health wise. So yeah. Anyways, today I want to talk about something personal. So here it is. My mechanic is a piece of shit. I deeply despise the guy, and you may be thinking, is it because he's overcharging you or something? No, it's actually because a bunch of actions he has made to pretty much see him in a much worse view than I used to see him back then. So it all started in a very positive view. My dad makes a friend, and I'm like, I don't hate you, neither do I like you. I'm very much indifferent for you. So I just kind of looked at him that way. He did have a truck, and he offered to sell it to me. I looked at it. It was a nice, decent truck, one cabin. Small, it has some humidity problems. It has some leakage. But it is repairable. To replace the windshield is not as expensive, maybe $200. That's a lot of money, yeah, sure, but it's just a windshield. It could be replaced, whatever. And so I bought it. I bought it for about $4,000. I paid him the $4,000. I put it. I don't want to go any further as it in the proceedings. Let's call that more of a very personal issue. As we did the proceedings, we wrote off. We put it on. He put it under my name. Whatever, paid whatever. Transaction was complete. I got the truck. I was pretty happy with it. Drove pretty fine. Very, very low gas mileage, I should say. Yeah, very small tank. Immediately, the blower motor, or whatever the hell it's called, broke. Why? The thing is with this guy, he has an issue where he thinks bolts suck, screws suck, so he thinks it's a better idea to weld this shit. What? I even showed it to my cousin, and he was like, yeah, what the hell is this being welded onto the damn truck? When I say it was welded on, I mean it was welded on. You could see the holes where the screws are supposed to go. He just welded that thing on there. And why am I bringing this up? Well, quite simple. The welding was terrible. For a guy that prefers welding, he sucks at welding because that motor just fell face forward onto the radiator. And because of that, guess what? It had to be replaced. It was terrible. So I bought one. It was fucking expensive, by the way, like $500. But thankfully, it had cores, so they gave me a partial refund. I think it was like $100. So it came down quite nice, I guess. It was replaced. And guess what? Another issue. What is it? This issue has actually it's a pretty old issue, as I remember hearing that a squeaking noise every time I would. Well, not a squeaking noise, rather more of a mechanical noise every time I would turn the wheel. And that issue was that there's a leakage on the power steering fluid. What is power steering exactly? Every time you turn your wheel left to right, there is some issues, let's call it that way. So there is this thing, almost like a lube, you throw it on there and it'll make it a very smooth movement. Left, right. Whenever the power steering fluid compartment, whatever you want to call it, is empty, you would hear a very mechanical noise, almost like imagine a crane lifting its arm up. Let's put it that way. So that happened. It was fully empty because there is a leakage. I thought you fixed it, you fat piece of shit. Come on. You fixed it and you sold it to me for $4,000 full price? What's wrong with you? So yeah, I'm like, okay, maybe it's more of a coincidence. I gave the guy another chance. It's more of a coincidence. I guess it's my fault. I should always, and so should you. You should always check your power steering fluid on a truck that you recently bought that the guy pretty please promised you that is fully fixed. So we did that. I still haven't replaced it because it is a very expensive piece, and I guess I'm grateful I still haven't done that, but I did maintain it. I would buy bottles and bottles and bottles of power steering fluid, add it on there once I start hearing that noise, and buy a spare, so that way in case I hear that noise I could just fill it up and I would continue that cycle. Guess what? Hundreds of dollars later, it's still an issue, and it is actually a minuscule issue. Later on, I'm assuming from the man's masterful welding construction, it started leaking. Yeah, it started leaking antifreeze. What exactly happened there? The water pump. The water pump is fucked. And because the water pump is fucked, the antifreeze started spilling. And because of that, the motor started to overheat. And I'll also mention this. It's more of an off thing, but you'll see what I mean. You'll see the relevancy. I changed the oil. I did the usual. I changed the oil filter, and I changed the oil itself. Drained that thing and just discarded it at my local AutoZone or whatever. I changed it. It's brand new oil, bought straight from the store. Did it myself. I've done it a couple times, and I've never had any issues of spillage. So anyways, let's go back to the previous one. It started leaking antifreeze, and because of that, my truck started to overheat. So, yeah. So, I went and I replaced that piece. Guess what? It broke again. Why? Apparently the gasket or whatever broke. Why? Remember how I mentioned that I would replace the oil? Well, guess what? It comes in relevant. Either the truck started burning through that oil like it was nothing, or it was spilling it through the cap of the engine. Again, it's not my fucking fault. I don't mess with the engine. The only time I mess with anything on the hood is when I open the cap, replace the oil, and there you go. Or whenever I would pull out the dipstick and check obviously clean it, put it on again, take it out, check, oh, oil is kind of dirty, let me replace it, or, oh, oil level seems right, that's great. Just put it back in there, obviously test drive it, that way the oil is in the system, and all that kind of stuff. And because of that, I had to start replacing the oil. Another waste of money, by the way, because, there was a crack on the engine. I could have fucking died in that thing because of that fat prick. And guess what? So because of that, I have an issue with the guy. But he said, hey, I'm going to fix it. He doesn't want to admit it's his fault. My dad is insanely oblivious because he doesn't want to admit it is his fault. He sold me a faulty truck under the premise that it works. Hey, I know your dad. You should trust me, bro. You should trust me that this truck works. It's had so many issues that there's probably some that I forgot all about. The biggest ones was the crappy welding. I don't even know why you would weld it instead of using screws. I don't trust them, bro. Screws are far more secure, you stupid prick. The fucking engine has a crack on it. Oil starts spilling. Antifreeze starts spilling. Power steering fluid starts spilling. Guess what? I bought it from you, and you've quote-unquote fixed it. My parents, they promised me that you quote-unquote fixed it. And me being oblivious to you, and me trusting them because they haven't wronged me for quite a while, and you pretty much using that trust to gain money from me, you're the prick that's at fault for all this shit. And guess what? He wants me to pay for everything that is broken. It is $1,000 to replace the gasket, apparently. And not only that, it gets even worse. Okay, sure, you need money. I don't blame you. Okay, fine. Here you go, I guess. That's how transactions, that's how labor works. Whatever. I expect the labor bill, by the way. He wants to buy it from me. And he's told everybody he wants to buy it from me because he wants to use it to drive all the way back to the city and all the way back to his house with parts for his other fucking trucks he's gonna ruin. He wants to buy it from me, and he refuses to give me an amount. He refuses to elaborate. He is pretty much just pulling the same old, same old. Trust me, bro. And guess what? After telling, he even told me after telling me that he wants to buy it from me and refusing to tell me a date when he wants to buy it from me, he wants me to pay for all the pieces, all the parts. He wants me to pay for it. At this point, the truck is not worth fixing. It is $1,000. It is not worth anywhere I've put my money into. At this point, I put in like about $1,500 worth of replacements, and it still doesn't work. It is all his fault. He's ruined that fucking truck. And as I've mentioned before, I have two possibilities as to what happened with the oil. Either A, he is so crappy at his job that when he put on the cap of the engine, he didn't screw it on properly. He probably fucking welded it because he's such a fucking moron. And because of that, it started leaking oil from the side because I always saw that engine wet. I didn't say shit because, hey, he knows how to do his work. People go to him. I just found out the only reason people go to him is not because he's a great mechanic. He's probably a dog shit mechanic. Everybody would probably tell you he's terrible at his job. No. It's because he's the only mechanic in town. Yeah, that's right. Kind of like how you can get a better product. You can't do that because you have to drive 50 miles into the whatever place. No. You have to go for this guy unless you want to drive 50 miles over there. Yeah, either A, the cap is so badly screwed or so badly welded onto the engine that that the oil is seeping out from those cracks, from the edge, or the engine is burning through oil because of other issues. I don't know what those issues are. I'm not exactly a mechanic. I'm not much into trucks. The only reason I know all of these parts is because I had to fucking put my money into it. I had to memorize all these stupid fucking parts. By the way, that truck he wants to buy, it's a Toyota, the one I fucking have. It's a Toyota. They're known for being really, really fucking durable. And he somehow ruined it. Great fucking mechanic. Also, when I bought that crappy truck, guess what? It had garbage in it. It had beer cans. It had a funnel. It had a bunch of fucking napkins all over the place in between parts. Yeah, it could have catched on fire. Thank you so much, asshole. And guess what? Guess who has to pay for it? Not only that, another issue it has is, this is a very small one. It's the reason why I haven't mentioned it. The windshield fluid, the whole thing. I'm assuming the truck has been in the sun for so long that somehow the container for the windshield fluid is it is how do I say it, it's very fragile. It is so baked in the sun somehow that the plastic easily cracks. It easily crumbles. And because of that, half of it is missing. From what? From driving it. So guess what? I've been driving without any windshield fluid the whole time. It's not really a big issue. It's just fucking windshield fluid. I'm not a mechanic. It may be there is some point to it. Maybe that's what caused the engine to nearly blow up on me. But hey, I'm not a mechanic. He's the mechanic. He should fucking know this shit. Hey, crappy practices plus shitty product equals terrible repair. But hey, again, I'm not a mechanic. He is the mechanic. He should know about this shit. Yeah, I guess that's all I have to say about this. Actually, I have some more. My parents started blaming me for all the issues. Why don't you check the oil? Why don't you check the power steering fluid? Why don't you check the antifreeze? The moment you have to start checking the oil and the antifreeze and the power steering fluid constantly, it is not the customer's fault. It is the repairman or the company's fault, because you're not supposed to be doing all those three constantly. You're not supposed to get the fuck out of your truck and say, "Welp, let's see the level of the oil." Obviously, you are supposed to check the oil every now and then, but you're not supposed to check it every single day, because if you do, there's an issue with the truck, and it needs to be addressed. As I mentioned before, I did change the oil. I even put a sticker on there telling me the mileage and the date as to when it was changed. So where the fuck did the oil go? Again, I did put on the screw at the very bottom of the oil pan. It was there. I put it on there. If it wasn't there, then I would have seen all the oil just easily drain fucking months ago. When I say months ago, I mean from now all the way to whenever the fuck I changed it. I don't remember because it's been with that fat prick for about ever since November, I believe. So, yeah, I'm not too sure. And my assumption is that he is holding off in the hopes that I try and sell to the guy for a much lower price, knowing full well that it's his fault. It's his fault. But hey, my brother, his fucking boyfriend, keeps sucking his cock. So for what the fuck do I care? Oh yeah, by the way, in case you're wondering, me and my cousin call him Daddy Juan, because of how much they, well, obviously they're not gay. That's not. It's more of a joke than anything else. But, and let's say he's a prick. He's a prick, and that's really why I don't. I've actually avoided hunting, and my cousin probably already knows something. He probably already knows something new. He's the reason why I avoided hunting. I don't want to be anywhere near him. Last time I saw him, I kind of wanted to punch him in the face for everything he's fucking financially harmed me for his misissues or whatever. And that is why I avoided hunting. I don't want to see his face. I don't want to hear his voice. I was glad I wasn't able to see him a couple days ago, because I genuinely do not want to talk to the guy. He screwed me over. And I'm very confident he knew he was screwing me over. So I do not want to see his face. As whenever we go, the area we go hunting is near him, and I just don't want to be near him. I'm done with the guy. I genuinely don't like him. Hopefully my last transaction and my last sight of him is when I sign the papers. He gives me the $5 and we just part ways. Cause I'm fucking done with him, really. I fucking hate this camera so much. Should get a new one. But yeah, I guess I'll be talking now about why I've been holding back from this channel. I've been holding back mainly because I've been wanting to try and upload that video first and then reintroduce this channel as whatever the hell I'm going to make it right now. As I've mentioned, this will be a more personal channel, so I'll be doing more videos like this, maybe even some more videos where I talk about maybe some geeky stuff I'm into, or some news, whether it be gaming, trading card, a board game, whatever. It's whatever in reality. I may even talk politics, but I will try and keep it as unbiased as possible, and I will try and keep them to the minimum, to the bare minimum. I might even record some videos of just me walking around like a moron. As I just want this to be more of a personal channel. I don't want it to be like my main channel, which I do adore. It's just that I want to have a channel where I just upload whatever. Kind of like old YouTube, really. So yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. Shout out to my cousin, as he's also been a good help to just release all of this. You guys just made it even better, kind of. Yeah, shout out to him, and also thank you so much. If you're watching this, Alejandro, I guess, thank you so much for being very skeptical of him, and I should have been as skeptical as you. And also thank you so much for calling the welding out, as that also did open my eyes by quite a bit. And yes, my brother still kind of... and yes, I'll even go as far as to say whatever the hell happened right now. He's still defending him. And again, my dad, he's still defending the guy. And it was just, yeah. That's pretty much all there is to it. Thank you so much, and have a good one, and see you on the next one.